Here we go. Been really excited about playing this. Let me pull up my... Okay. Hey guys. You know what I want to check real quick? Oh, that is so weird. Okay. So, I'm going to be doing Stanley Parables. Hopefully, I'll get through all 19 endings tonight. We'll see. But what I find is super interesting is this screen is running a fully screen mirror. Like, okay, see that the green? That's my frame counter. That won't even show up on OBS, but it's showing on this. Actually, come to think of it, I don't even think Shadowplay records that too, so that's so weird. Okay, no. Enough drooling over the title screen, because this game has so much more to offer. Begin the game. This is never the end. The end is never. End is never the end? Maybe? So I have a guide just telling me how to get all the different endings.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-lifting, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Trippy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, so now we're controlling. So, real quick, begin the game again. Real quick, I'm just going to kind of explain this ending. This is the freedom ending. Obey everything the narrator tells you to do. And so here we go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so where's this meeting room? I wonder if it's going to tell me where the meeting room is.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
True dat. Okay, so here's the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, goodness. This is like Portal levels of stuff. Okay, that broom closet is something we're gonna have to show off later.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
True dat. Ooh, fancy.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
What dark
What he
secret could
could
be
not
held
have
from
known
me?
was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
Bum bum
And so the
bum.
boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Wait, behind his desk. Where is it behind?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know
Oh.
the combination was 2845.
I don't.
2845.
Oh. Oh. I'm blind.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped
Amazing.
into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, I was like, where's the new... Happy is blind confirmed 2017.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
This is
It was
peculiar.
a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. Okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ooh. Fancy.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Television
What horrible
screens.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
So there's not a jump button, but there's a crouch button, which is a little weird to me.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
I was going to try and find my office. Oh wait, I think I
The
found...
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Trippy.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. suspense and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Achievement unlocked, beat the game, yay! So, does that take us back to the main menu? Oh, wow. So, every time we beat the game, it just takes us back here? Oh, that's interesting. I like the game design. So I just want to point out that, like, my guide here is like, the narrator talks about Stanley being finally being free and able to do what he wants, which is both ironic and clever since the narrator was the one controlling him. Irony at its finest. Explosion and obey everything the narrator tells you to do except for pressing on instead of off the mind control. Okay. So we can kind of...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I guess
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I guess I can kind of just rush through this, because I just remember all the paths. You take the left door, you go up the stairs, and then I think you're...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
True that. So basically, like I said earlier, this is the same freedom ending.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
Tips
of
for not getting
desperation,
fired. Don't get
Stanley
fired.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So basically, same ending, just we press on instead of
Stepping
off.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Yeah, buddy. Oh. Games like, you want to be a...
Soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Anti-speed running. This game, I feel like, is going to be just a little bit better than DLC Quest. Stanley Chronicles. Yeah. I should have just named this stream that, Stanley Chronicles.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
That's gotta be another ending. Every time you make a choice in this game, it's going to be a different ending.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Television
What
screens.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
HGDQ 2018 Stanley Parables by Happy. Television screens.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Estimate.
This mind-controlled facility...
I think with true ending, we can probably get it done in... Oh, darn it, that stopped the game. In probably about 10 minutes.
Stanley really been under
I mean, world record time is 9 minutes and 43 seconds, I think.
that his emotions had been manipulated to accept
Obviously,
every
we can't do that in a single segment run, but, you know, we'll do our best.
refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life...
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't dropping any frames. Oh, is the game gonna crash? Oh, it was...
in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power.
Part of me wants to, like, jump the gun and click the button.
For he would dismantle... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go.
Kirby on couch. Yes.
And leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
Obviously, this is not the speed run. I just figured this is the funnier ending. You know, obviously.
Where we're going, what all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
Narrator is Gladys confirmed.
I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Aww,
Other
forever
times,
alone.
I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events...
What color
has
is the
been rather
crisp?
amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Whoa. Okay, that was a dark ending. This next one is actually going to be just really simple. It's called the coward's ending. All you do is you close the door.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Okay, so that was that. Mariella / insane ending. Oh goodness. And the explosive ending was already super sane as is. Rather super insane as is. Okay, essentially, but go down the stairs instead of up. Okay, so we're going downstairs.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bum, ba, bum. That's kind of the first time we're going to be kind of disobeying the narrator. Like, kind of mid-game and not, like, at the end. So we still go left.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Good old left door.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope. We're going downstairs. Good sir.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Nope.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
What the heck? Too meta for me. What is this game? Okay. Museum ending. As I question my life and what I'm actually doing right now. Obey everything, back, follow the escape sign. Okay, I remember where that is.
Stanley knew the office.
Well, that was deep.
It was only a matter of time before
Oh, goodness.
others, wherever they were.
This game is, like, very unsettling. Like, the first ending was kind of eh.
When Stanley
We
came
still
to
take
a
the left
set of
door.
2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
But those last 2 endings were just...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
And we still go up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Speedrun tactic. You play the game before you start the speedrun to get that part. Also, the game is now paused. Thank you, game. We're learning new speedrun tactics. Oh, good. It also speeds up the elevator. This game is great. Okay, so instead of...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nope, he didn't.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I'm actually a little creeped out. Blah, blah, blah.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
I think we go this way.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
So this is the museum ending, which kind of gives us like some beta elements. I wish this. I'm doing it in the order that this guide has it laid out, and I kind of wish they would have put this one later because this would have been fun to do like near the end. Pacing of the opening section was important to get right there. 2 doors I could. Piling cabinets, office computers. See, when we have credits here, like, why did they put this one so soon? Thought of this sound like Portal stuff. These are probably door. Anyway, let's see. Anyway, let's see. I wonder. Wait. Oh, okay, so this is using Source Engine. I was about to say this is basically Portal, like the first-person shooter parts. Office clock. So these are different office layouts. I kind of like the one that they chose. It seems more slightly menacing, almost. Freedom ending. I hope this doesn't spoil any other endings. Countdown desk. Okay, so these are different versions of Stanley's office throughout the different iterations of this game. I think this is the current one. These two look very similar. This one's a little more neat and laid out, though. Oh, and this one has 2 computers. That's weird. I don't know why that... Huh. Also, I think we have unlimited time here. Also, I'm going the wrong way. At least I think we have unlimited time here. The lounge. Yeah, I think this might be spoilers. Okay, yeah. We're gonna come back to this one. I think even though we have unlimited time here, we actually have to. Let's see. After the female narrator tells the player to. Okay, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to this one. Because this could be spoilers further. Okay, wait, I want to see this real quick. Where's the audio? Or is there just no audio? Okay. Let me see. Do I have to go all the way back, or is there like actually a right way to go? Nope. I guess I'm just going to retrace my steps. But where's the audio yawns? I create my own audio. Ha ha ha. Wait, this is not the way I came in. Underground.
Stanley pushed the number 6. Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of Paul Weber's design. Textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively if you have even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. Then he pushed those you think you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Stanley's here. I'm just going to make this easier. Stanley pushed the number 6.
Okay, so this wasn't the one way I came. Anyways. I'm lost. Here, wait. Escape menu. Huh. Yeah. I thought that was one of the endings. Okay, wait, no, this is trailer room. I'm lost in a museum, guys. Okay, wait, I came from this room, I went back down here, went over here. More endings, fewer endings, more narrators, fewer narrators. In September 2012, we submitted the Stanley Prayer. The Green Light Page. I want to say that this is the HD remix. Is it remix? Yeah, it's remix. You can't jump. Oh, I've tried to press the space bar like so many times. I said Sunday. I started Smash, and then I just kind of stopped because no one was playing, and I was playing pretty bad. Okay, okay, so... Okay, after the female test, the only way to save Stanley is to quit the game. Oh, wait. After that, the female narrator tells the player that the only way to save Stanley is to quit the game, but staying will have them leaving the screen. Okay, so I think from this point we can just restart. I just want to... Okay. Let me check Steam, but is there an achievement for getting all the endings? There's a speedrun that says complete the Stanley Parables in 4 minutes and 22 seconds. I'm not quite sure. Achievement. Okay, I'm just going to begin the game again. If that's another achievement, then I can go back and redo the museum one. Let's see, so we're doing confusing ending now. Oh, great. Take the right door.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Okay, that was a joke. That was me joking around. That actually isn't the world record.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Wait. Go left in the open door.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour off, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Wait. Use the elevator inside.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Wait. Taking this route, but we're gonna go down the elevator. Oh.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Wait. Okay, taking this route leaves an area confused on which. After opening and closing 2 doors in Stanley's face. Oh. Whoops, that's spoilers.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
I wish I had a face cam sometimes, because I put my hands over my eyes as if I was closing them. Okay, it says, in successive restarts, Stanley will always end up in the monitor room. So... Gangster Derby's eyes are open now. After 2 restarts ending with multiple doors, then... Okay, so I think I have to do this again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I think I actually have to like do
Stanley
this
decided to go to the
same
meeting.
ending like
Perhaps
3
he'd
times.
simply missed a memo.
Okay, so I still have to take the left door, but I have to take...
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
5,000 for a face cam definitely will
We
do.
were back in that room with all the monitors. Did you move the story somewhere? Or...
I can't handle this game. This is so
Well, I'm
trippy.
asking you. I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Okay, so I think I can just take any doors right now. I'm still going to take the left one just because... Actually, no. Let me try and go on an adventure. Let me take this door. It says I'll always end up in the monitor room, though. So that's good. And this looks like the right way to go.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Oops.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Trippy.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
So I just go all the way back to my office?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Yes!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay, so I think we're still on this ending? Oh, yes, here we go.
I've got a solution.
Yeah, we're still on this
This
ending.
time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Ooh, fancy.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
To destiny!
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no
Parkour.
destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into
Parkour.
being via the very manifestation of the nature
Parkour.
of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Whoa.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
That's nice. Okay. That's
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no, not again.
Oh, wait, no.
How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't
Make a
we
good
make
point.
up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know.
Line TM.
How about this direction?
Ooh. We're such rebels.
Yes, This is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well,
Bum bum bum
what
bum
do you
bum.
want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again.
UTM.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
It. TM. Bum 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 bum. That's going to be Happy Gaming Inc.'s new theme music.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here.
Thanks for sure,
Just
BTM.
walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's
Find a
going on.
bookstore.
I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Whoa. Spoilers.
The timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
HGI lies.
Whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
This game makes me very uncomfortable. It's just so ominous. Like, it's not a horror game, but it's just scary.
All of his co-workers were gone.
So he's gonna forget, and we're gonna be
Stanley
like,
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
yeah, Mr. Mobo. When does this confusing? Okay, wait.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Wait, was that it?
Perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Was that the confusing ending?
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Alright.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So
Okay, so, yep. That was the ending of the confusing ending. For some reason, I thought we'd actually have to do all those 8 restarts. Okay. So that was that ending, which was confusing. Phone ending. Take the right door, go to the warehouse, cargo lift. Okay, take the right door, go into the warehouse. Oh, okay, wait, that's the right.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
That's new text. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes, he did.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace? Its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
Okay, wait. From here.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Wait. Take the right door, take the cargo lift. Go into the warehouse. I think this is the warehouse.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop. Do not jump from cargo lift.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that
I'm
the
supposed to be
story has
answering a
been about
phone.
nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying
Ouch.
to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Oh, 0.
Look at him there, pushing buttons.
Stanley
doing
took the door on his
exactly
left.
what
Then
he's
Happy
told
looked
to do.
at his
Now he's
his guide and followed the
now
narrator's directions. Then somebody named Derby, probably a listener, aww, typed a message in the chat,
He's coming back
as
to
if he
work.
was the narrator.
One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, In his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world,
I
he began
think
to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was
I think
such a
that's
wonderful
I think
fantasy.
there is a baby
So in his
ending.
head, he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is
I think we actually have hit
In
the
reality,
point
all he did
of
was pushing the same
where we
buttons
actually have to
he always
reset
has.
the game now.
Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I think the game freezes now.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Press die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Yep, that was the ending. Okay, I'm glad I didn't reset. So whenever you get this is the end, I guess? Or never the end or something, that means you hit an ending. So you reset the game, basically. Please die. Okay. Next ending... Let's see, that was the phone ending. We have the museum ending, which I might go back and do. Not Stanley ending. Okay, take the door on the right, go into the car room, take the lift across without jumping, unplug the... Okay, so we have to unplug the phone in the phone ending.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Trying to motivate yourself to go to work.
When Stanley came to a set of 2
Nope.
open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
And Stanley knew perfectly well.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
Just to admire it.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but
Understood.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
True dat.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Okay, wait. I need to read this real quick because I think. Okay, taking the right turn. Okay, so we have to. I wonder if. Okay, wait.
This is it, Stanley.
This was not the right door, and Stanley knew this perfectly well. Okay. There.
Your chance to redeem yourself.
You only get one
To
shot.
put
Do not
your
miss your
work
chance to
aside,
go
to
or
let
blow.
her back
Or
into your life.
this
She's
opportunity
been waiting.
comes once in a lifetime. So now, instead of that,
That's her, Stanley. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? Now, that
whoops.
wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that?
Teabags plug.
Chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these
Happy for next
are supposed
Eminem.
to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. If used
HGI
incorrectly,
on
can
ice.
also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named
What the
Stephen
Happy
has a
Gaming Inc.
choice.
is this game?
He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish.
There's
their
not a lot of
thought,
real people then.
Provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying,
Choice.
"My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse.
I did see it. I was too busy listening to text to try. I forgot how that song tune went, so I couldn't do it. I'm beginning to feel like a bum ba-dum 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 bum God bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-bum God. All my people from the front to the back bum ba-da-bum bum bum ba-da-dum. Okay, so we're gonna go back.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so I have to go through the right door first, I think. I don't think it actually matters, though.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Phew. Can I go back in this one? No. Okay, that's just a change. But I broke the game.
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that?
Oh man. Well, this will probably go on YouTube tomorrow at noon, so if you want to finish it up then.
Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
You know, it'd be really cool if it actually, like, forced the game to crash. I actually had to reboot it. Can you force the program to crash?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever.
I'm clever.
Where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So now we're going to proceed like normal, except apparently there's going to be blocks from going the wrong way now.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
You
boss's
can also go
office,
into the broom
hoping
closet.
He might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Now, I'm pausing because I don't want to talk over the narrator. I wonder if there was the fencing there. I wonder if that was to prevent you from starting another ending. And now I'm talking like the narrator. But like if I would imagine that like once you start a particular ending, you can actually escape from it. Like it's got a script that it needs to follow. Also, this is different.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out.
Later,
Stanley
Sherby.
had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code. Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step. Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there.
And
Why
I
you come
did.
this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
That was so sad. and creepy. Okay, so the powerful ending. Once again, we're going to take the right door.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well, okay?
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
Just to admire it, okay?
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business.
Stanley took the first open door on his left. I'm trying to do the lip sync. Not lip sync, but you know.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Geronimo! Splat.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That was actually a fast one. That was almost
I
as
can't
fast
wait
as
to tell
the
this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find
That was
it.
almost as fast as the
Although we
Coward's
all just
ending.
Laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay.
The lounge was grand, majestic, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
So we have to basically be disobedient
Stanley was so
through
bad at following
all.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay, so we have to take this.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Okay, so I go this way, right? Wait. Okay, this way, take the left and jump on. Can I not go back from here? Okay, good. Jump onto the catwalk.
But in his eagerness to...
Yep. I was supposed to jump off onto the catwalk while I was on the thing.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
No, he didn't. You lie.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through... All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
And 3.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion?
Oh, yeah.
Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Worldwide leaderboard. Do I still go through the orange door? I wonder if those were like actual real.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
So this didn't give the. It's not.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard.
I get that a lot.
Because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough?
I wonder if this is actual like Minecraft footage.
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Let's go mining! It even has the Minecraft
Oh
music.
my. It looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Does it look like I brought a light?
No. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
I wonder if that actually... Yeah, this looks familiar.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me pour oats inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
But... You're ruining a classic. You know that, right?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
Oh, so this is the original mod. So wait, this originally was just a Portal mod? Okay, I've seen Alex. Five 10. 509. So we have to go back to 427, I believe. So this is the beta release of Back to Our Lovely Home of 427. Wait. Oh, so if we walk back out.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh yes, Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Let me try something real quick.
When Stanley came to...
I can just look. Okay, so that's basically a save state.
a set of 2 open doors, he entered... This was not the...
How many times do I have to go through the left doors? Hey, this powerful enemy. Okay, I want to try this.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
Just to admire it. Because, like,
It was okay.
it was okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Because, like, I kind of forgot that there were saves in this game.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Wait, this one... Yeah.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I think this time we actually have to go through the red door.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Trippy.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? No. No, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do... My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Okay, so now we're going to go to our save. Gonna... Wait, how do we load save? Can I load save? Wait, quit to menu. Load game. There we go.
It's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Okay. Cold feet ending. Samus powerful ending, but quickly get off the lift before it takes Stanley, and then jump off to the floor below. This.
Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it. Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Okay, so that was that. Now this is escape pod ending. Okay, listen to the narrator until he reaches the boss's office. Okay, I just want to see if I can plant another save point somewhere. Okay.
Stanley stood for a long time in one spot. It's part of a game. He likes to see how long he can go without dying. So far, he's doing excellent. And if he just stays right where he is, I'm sure he'll keep up that good momentum. Let's observe the genius at work.
Okay, after jumping. Okay, right. Stanley finds a room where nothing acceptable. Transfer. Okay. Okay. Looks like
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping him coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
okay, right. So I think I have to go in, then leave.
Here's the door.
Wow, that was like really quick. Like no timing whatsoever. Oh wait. Make sure all the doors behind Stanley are opening. Something about the executive bathroom. I want to check this out now. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Okay. Okay. Okay, wait, we have to go back to Stanley. You are now leaving. Wait, do I want to go 760 or do I want to go... Wait. Okay, go back. Nope. Guess we're going up further. Do we have to go all the way up to 760? I just would imagine that we are going up to 760. Oh, I thought escape pod launch bay escape. There we go. That was it? Wait. I feel like I did that wrong.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, wait. Get on top of the desk. And leave through the window. Get on top of the computer? What? Oh. Wait, okay. Okay, wait. Get on top of the desk on the left with the square computer. Okay, I did that. Leave through the window.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No. No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Would it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer?
I should have saved, darn it.
Spend in total just to have heard all the narration. Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Now, do I actually have to restart? I might have to restart. Oh, darn. For some reason, I thought it would not matter. It would
All
be...
of his co-workers
Yeah.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
There we go.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable, and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
I'm not sure if we're at like a never ending. I'm just looking at other ending accesses. Okay. Oh, what was the next one? Okay, heaven ending. Complete inputs on all 5 computers in the office. 419. So we have to go to office number
All of
419.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
421. It's 420. This is 419. Input received. Okay. Restart the game. 423.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
On the boss's secretary's desk outside the boss's office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Uh, 434.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
The guide says nothing about that. I already got the input on that, right? And now Stanley's computer. Oh, maybe I did that wrong.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Did I mess this up? I do like how there's 1,000.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Okay, I gotta get on the chair somehow. How did I get up here? There we go. Okay, let me quit the main menu. Begin game.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Okay. This is 4:34 on. Okay, gotta consult another guide, because no, this is a video guide. I don't want a video guide. Let me see. Actually, let me try. Wow, there's a guide about how to mod the game so you can jump. Okay, so this is under guides. Okay. Not the escape pod ending, I need heaven ending. Adventure line, cold feet. Apartment ending, insane ending. Museum, countdown, I already did that one. Does this not have the... There we go. Okay.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I know. Maybe I have to go back into my office. Restart the game. And then set on Stanley.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I'm not sure why this isn't working. Let me see if just straight exiting the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of
there
his
we go.
co-workers.
The purple bar updated. So now I should be able to go boom. That was weird. Welcome, Stanley, to heaven. Batons. Is this it? Okay, so I think this ending is done. Okay, so this one is going to be a little more tricky. I think I'm going to have to quit the game. Oh, okay, so I haven't gotten the broom closet ending quite yet. I'm going to do that probably last. But I'm on the serious ending right now. In the Steam, so I have to boot up Steam. I have to go Stanley Parables. I have to go, let's see. Install backup game files, great. In the Steam type properties betas. Where's the boot? Set launch options. Okay. Dash console. Okay. Run the game. And okay, so we gotta boot up Stanley Parable again. And now in the game, run the game and input SV underscore cheats space 1 in the console. This will teleport the player to the serious room.
Stanley, this is me being serious. In fact, this is my serious room. It's where I come to be serious. That table is the most serious table I could find. I looked at many, many tables, hundreds of tables. It's possible I looked at over 1,000 tables. I honestly don't know. The specific number isn't as important as the understanding that of all tables I looked at, this one is the most serious. I relate this story to impress upon you the extent to which this is the most serious room I have, which is why I brought you here. You just tried to activate server cheats, which of course runs the risk of breaking the entire game. You've got no respect for the strict order of scripted narrative events, and I just can't have that. It's time to get serious, Stanley. No jokes, No games. Outside of this room, I might be more tolerant of those things, but now we're in the room. Which is why I'm subjecting you to the most serious punishment I can think of. 100 billion trillion years standing here in the serious room.
Okay.
Perhaps after that, we can talk about the severity of your actions and whether you've learned anything. But until then, serious room, go.
Okay. Oh wait. Okay, so I can now bring up the console again and do server cheats 1.
Whoa! Did we not have the talk? Are we not in the serious room this very moment? Did I not tell you how many tables I looked through? I'm going to be conservative and say it was somewhere in the tens of thousands of tables. Any reasonable person would say I spent an absurd amount of time doing nothing but looking at tables, and I genuinely considered each one too. I took a hell of a lot of notes. I kept the notes in a different room. That room is less serious than this one. It's more of a notes room. Again, the point of this story is to convey how serious I feel this cheating issue is. And I'm sure you'll agree with me once you've fulfilled your new punishment. Infinity years in the serious room.
No.
I generally have trouble reading human emotions, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you're devastated by this crippling new punishment.
I
As
am.
you should be. It's the most serious I could think of.
Ooh.
Can you get more serious than that? No, you can't. Don't try.
This is serious. Happy then learned no lessons and decided to cheat again.
Still no effect. The problem is clearly the serious room. It isn't serious enough. That's on me, Stanley. I apologize. I'm going to the store to look through more tables. Hopefully I find one that can say wrong what
Oh, hashtag favorite ending right
Can
here.
I put those notes?
You obviously put them in your note room, remember? And there's no further effects with that, so... Oh, wow. So, this art ending? We're not doing it. I'm just going to basically give a rundown, because I didn't realize how stupid it was. After jumping on the cargo lift, blah blah blah. Basically, okay, so the baby game. Once Stanley reaches the baby game, he continues to press the button to save the baby. After 2 hours, the narrator will add another game where Stanley, you, have to save a puppy from piranhas by pressing another button in front of the first one. In order to beat both games, Stanley has to go back and forth pressing both buttons. After a total of 4 hours playing, Stanley will be brought to White Room where he will see the divine art. In addition, yeah, we're not doing that. I actually kind of want to find a video now of someone trying to do that. I want to see if I can hack this, actually. First off, to Steam's web browser, accessing whiteboard room cheat, Stanley Parable. Serious room, console commands. Okay, boom. Commands, bark. Oh, gosh, that scared me. No, stupid ads. Stop. Run it. No, no, stop. Okay, here we go. I need to map. Okay. Teleports. Uh, so can I not get to that? Let's see. Um, okay. Also, let me see if I can actually... There wasn't a command to get to the whiteboard ending. Uh, art ending. Stanley Parable. Yeah. Um, so I'm just going to let you guys look up a video for that because I'm not playing this game for 4 hours. Just going to begin the game again. And I guess there's a random ending,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
quote
it mean?
unquote ending, where you
Stanley
can
decided to go
access
to the
a
meeting room. Perhaps
whiteboard.
he had simply missed a memo.
Let's see, wait. Whiteboard ending 426. Actually, wait. What was the console command that allowed you to clip? Yeah. Console commands. This one can cause crashes. Um, and you can see the narrative. Okay, so no clip. Oh wait.
Yo, cuz, there's free donuts in the quad. All you have to do is sign up for all these.
That freaked me out. Okay, begin the game again. Did we lose our console command privileges? Okay, we're gonna reload. Once more. Properties, set launch options, console. And boot the game up once more. We're gonna do no clip. Begin the game. I'm just gonna walk through room 426.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait, maybe it's a different command. Let's see.
Free donuts.
Oh, come on. Stupid pop-up ads. Hideous opens up a random page on the Team Fortress 2 wiki. That's awesome. Tacos clip. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Okay, I guess we're not doing that. No matter, I've got one more thing to show off. Let me figure out how to properly do this. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, I don't know if I can do this enough times to actually show this,
Yet
but
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Nope.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
nope.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Oh goodness, the good old broom closet
Stanley
ending.
was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is.
Oh.
That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Wow, Stanley. Stanley needs to chill.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Oh dear.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead.
Rip.
He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player, it's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to
Yeah,
tell the story again.
that's just about it. Also, we can reset the game enough times and that room gets boarded up. Well, I mean, if we reset and go back to that room, it gets boarded up, but yeah. Besides that's all she wrote for this game.
Coming to a staircase,
I'm just going to
Stanley
finish it
walks
up with the
upstairs to
initial
his
ending,
boss's office.
the obey everything ending.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
I wonder, oh, it's probably because I turned the game off, that's why I reset that flag or whatever.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Right before Secret Disco.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
There's a light bulb button? Maybe it's in here. No, it's not in here.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Television
What
screens.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Huh.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this... and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
And thus, that is all we have really for the Stanley Parable. I'm gonna try and find some of the other endings that I couldn't do. Like, there was a whiteboard ending that was randomly activated. And then obviously that art one. And yeah. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I don't know how long we've been playing this. Oh, 2 hours. Yeah. Well, see you guys later, because I might be doing more Far Cry 3. Later, guys.